Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Tech Sharmit podcast. Today, I'm honored to introduce Subhashish Chakraborty, a Microsoft solution architect and technology leader joining us from India. Subhashish is a specialist in Microsoft Dynamic 365, Azure, and Power Platform, helping enterprise to transform their business solutions. With his deep expertise in AI driven enterprise systems and cloud architecture, he is shaping the future of digital transformation. So, today in this episode, we are going to talk about Subhashi's professional journey and his insights on enterprise technology solutions. But before we dive in, I would like to thank Subhashish for joining us today in this episode. And now I request you to please initiate the discussion by telling us something about yourself.
Hey Amit, thank you so much for asking me to join. And actually, it's a pleasure to talk to you on a weekend. And yeah, so actually, we can talk a lot about my experiences. Like recently, what I've been basically seeing there is a paradigm shift in technologies and all these things in this bracket of time. And yeah, so thank you once again for inviting me and letting me talk to you.
Yeah, all pleasure is mine, Subhashish. And now, before we dive into your technical expertise, let's start from the very beginning itself, like how it everything got started. When did you decided that yes, IT is the field where you are going to contribute for the society? So just let us know like what initially drew you to into the technology world of technology.
Understood, understood. So, Amit, actually, I am from a completely different background. So, I'm from electronics engineering. I did my engineering with electronics and instrumentation, which has got nothing to do with computer science or the things that I am working on presently. But somehow I felt like actually I got inspired by seeing people who are getting jobs. People are coming, great big brands are coming, and they're selecting engineers for doing software development. And the core industry still doesn't have that amount of spotlight as yet, unfortunately. So this is the reason why I initially was kind of agreed to make my shift to software platform, and then actually I could see that it's kind of a rabbit hole that can take you down, down, down deeper into, you learn a lot, and there is absolutely no end to learning. So, in fact, the core industry is somehow restricted and constricted with some limitations. But out here in software industry, with the advent of AI and the way the Microsoft is making the paradigm shift, it's absolutely an abyss of huge boundary of knowledge which you can learn and earn as you move ahead. So this is where I started, and it's a great show thus far. Like every month or every fortnight, I could see Microsoft is coming up with something new in its plan. So what's new? There is always a what's new. You could always see on the Microsoft Learn, and you have to keep your radar open to catch anything new, flashy words that is coming up. Say, for example, right now they're doing a lot of researches and additions on MCP servers, and MCP servers are getting into bigger and bigger realms of dynamics world. So this is what actually you have to keep yourself hydrated, and you can. This is how you can stay young and stay up to the mark with the modern day shift changes.
Yes. And Shubhashish, here I want to ask you one question like, how was your transition from electrical to computer science domain? Because we know like there are many other folks who are pursuing their degree in different domain, but they are interested into joining the IT field or as a software engineer or maybe as a different role. So, did you face any challenges there, or how was your transition?
Exactly. So that's a very good question. I mean, so actually, I remember like you have to learn everything afresh, everything from the scratch, because there is very little resemblances with the way the electronics equipments are programmed, and the computer science, the way we do programming every day in computer science, it's completely drastically different. So I have to learn it up all the way. Say, for example, the amount of the degree of programming that we are taught on, very well, that the degree of programming, the computer programming were taught on, or our engineering days are very, very limited to C, C++, and a little bit of data structures. But that is not enough to take you to make it in the practical world. So I
Agree.
have to learn it up all myself, learning from actually how it goes from all the way to .NET into there is another very older ERP, older version of ERP called Navision, which is nowadays known as Business Central. So I started from Navision, and then gradually I shifted to something known as Dynamics Accepta, which you know nowadays as Dynamics 365 Financial Operations.
Yes.
So this is how it happened actually.
And it is, Subhashish, like it is very inspiring to see the person like you who easily adopted these things, because we all know that there are some challenges also while moving from one domain to another. But the way you have adopted this technology and contributing, and later on you achieve the title as Microsoft MVP and different things. So that is really
Mhm.
very inspiring, and I'm sure like those who are also planning to be a part of computer science from their different background knowledge, they can also get some inspiration from your journey, and they will be able to achieve greater height in their career as well.
Mhm.
Okay. And another thing, Subhashish, I noticed regarding your profile is that you are not only known as a Microsoft MVP, but you are also known as a highly skilled developer in Microsoft Dynamics 365 F&O, Azure AI and Power Platforms. So what do you think?
Yep.
Like, how do you see these technologies shaping the future of enterprise solution?
Very, very good. This is another very good question, Amit. So basically, these are the cornerstones of today's world. I'd say rather the way the whole thing is phase shifting into automation industries. Everything is kind of, we are becoming kind of, fortune teller. So we are kind of making use of various kinds of regression mechanism, various kinds of algorithms that are present in AI, which can foretell the future, various kinds of predictive modeling. So these things are basically getting into deeper and deeper realms of our society. And Microsoft, what is doing is that it's doing this amazing job of grabbing all this context into the various corners of its prevailing technologies, like as you are saying the names of them, like Power Platform, Azure AI, and Microsoft F&O Finance and Operations, CE, which is the customer engagement. These things are basically making use of these components, and they're going, getting live and livent with all these components. So yes, like in fact, there are various ways by which you can help the society, people with specially able people. You can help them understand various things. You say, for example, immersive reader, or you can make use of various components that can automatically help them out by using of AI. You can make use of AI to understand the various labeling, to recognize shapes, sizes, everything. It is kind of you are implementing some kind of a life to a non-living entity. So this is how the whole thing is growing up, and it's becoming kind of a human-like structure nowadays.
Yes, and somewhere we all know that Microsoft Dynamics 365 is playing a vital role for achieving the desired output for the organization. But I still
Mhm.
believe like there are some challenges that organization are facing, and they are hesitate to adopt these things, Microsoft Dynamics 365. So, as per your expertise, what do you think? Like, what are those common challenges do the organizations are facing while they are adopting the Microsoft Dynamics 365?
Exactly. I mean, so basically, yes, there are various challenges, like, people who are kind of much more habituated with an older version of ERPs.
Yes.
Like, this specifically happens when you are going to go for an implementation of your Dynamics 365 for something known as Tally. Tally ERP is a very, relevant ERP which was there till certain time, certain period of time, still certain yesteryears. And obviously, in order to go for a better implementation, they have selected Dynamics 365 Finance and Operations. You would see a huge amount of blockage. People who have I would say, like, people who are very much familiar with ERPs like JD Edwards or Solomon's or Great Plains. Actually, they are also very big ERPs, but in order to keep in sync with today's world, you have to go for ERPs like Finance and Operations or Oracle apps, So you will feel a huge amount of blockages. People won't agree with your way of agile way of working. Say, for example, people do in sprints, people show and tell, people do this kind of changes. They are still kind of familiar with the waterfall model, so they are always
Yes.
believe in waterfall engineering instead of going in sprinted deliveries. Plus, the Azure DevOps are is a very fantastic way of keeping track of your development works, your burn up charts, and everything. But still, people are quite hesitant to it. They're much more familiar with keeping track of everything on Excel worksheets, Excel spreadsheets like that. Even sometimes keeping them on track on blank papers is also another good way, according to them. So, in order
Yes.
to convince them, it's very difficult. People are still very familiar with in-house, on-premise implementation. They have a still big no-no with implementation for cloud-based ERPs. They are very scared about sharing data. They might think that our data might get, it might fall into the wrong hands. So all these fear factors are there, which you have to somehow make them comfortable and buy their beliefs and comforts on you.
Yeah, and I also agree that the only way through which we can encourage them to use these kind of technology is by letting
Hmm.
them know that at least give a try. Once they give it a try, then they will feel by their own that yes, it is already helping them to enhance their performance as well. So this is the only
Yes,
way they can realize it. So everyone can make awareness of it, like how it is helping them, and then they can
absolutely.
only understand it.
Absolutely.
All right, so Subhashish, now we will talk about your other expertise because we all know not only as a developer but as an active blogger as well as active global
Mhm.
speaker, you are contributing
Mhm.
in into the communities as well. So first
Correct.
question is why do you think like interacting with community through conferences and sharing your knowledge with community is helping you as well as an individual, and it is also helping a community. So, what are your thoughts on it?
Okay, gotcha. So basically, Amit, the thing is like writing on blogs is an excellent way to spread your synergies and your, the group works. Sharing your knowledge is an excellent way just not to let the world know how much I know, how much I know, not like that. Actually, you are helping others who are going through the same difficulties that you faced
Correct.
so that they don't face the same challenges. This is the most important thing. Another thing is basically you increase your networking. The more you increase your networking, it's just not good for you, but it's also good for the world around you because we are all the same boat sailors in some way or the
Yes.
other. And the more you basically you interact with others, they can also reach out to you for any kind of help. So I'm telling that LinkedIn, I have experienced this. LinkedIn is a great platform which can help you with touch basing with various people who are facing your same issues that you have faced some point of time. And I can still I'm getting various prompts and various chat messages requests saying that, hey subs, I am getting stuck up in a link in a on a logic apps preparation, man, and I can see that my logic apps is timing out after some time. Can you suggest some better way? How can we come across this? How can we solve this? Like these kind of things, basically it's just an immense matter of pride, just because not like you are in a position to help others. Plus,
Yes.
it's you are making the world a much better place, much better technological place, which is beyond the barriers of the ethnicity, the cultural barriers, the cultural gaps, and it's all across the world. You are a global citizen right now.
Right. And this is something that I always discuss with every expert like yourself. Everyone is saying
Mhm.
that when we are going to interact with the like-minded people, there are more chance to get the solution on a better way. Even like it will not take that much of time when you are interacting because as you just mentioned that everyone is facing the same kind of problems, right? So once you
Exactly.
find out the solution, then you are able to help others. So that way, like we can
Exactly.
try to eradicate all those obstacles that we are commonly facing. So this is one of the best thing, especially for the freshers who are about to start their career. As Subhashish also mentioned, LinkedIn is one of the LinkedIn is one of the best platform through which you can interact with your mentors. You can just simply reach out to them and try to get as much knowledge as you can from their expertise. All right. So Subhashish, now we will talk on another aspect of your life, which I found really very interesting because apart from this technical thing, I also found that you have keen interest in archaeology. So how did that begin, and does it influence your work perspective in tech industry as well?
Okay, okay. Actually, it all dates back to a time when I read a book called Angels and Demons by Dan Brown. So it's a historical thriller, basically.
Okay.
So I also thought of, our country's history is also very, very old and it's filled with so much of information.
Yes.
So and which somehow got lost in time. It's so old, basically. So you eventually have lost everything buried deep under the earth or lost in times and in some way or the other. So gradually, I came across one person called the Zachariah Sitchin, who is a eminent archaeologist and a historian. I read his books, and there are so many others who are also inspiring me to, like, von Danikel is another person who says, like, the deities that we see around us is nothing but the beings from another world. They are aliens who used to stay on our earth, and they are so technologically advanced that we started treating them as gods. So this kind of series basically inspired me to write books, and I wrote a couple of books. Basically, unfortunately, they're all on Bengalis. That's why you might not be able to read them. It's I will try to get them translated into English sometime. And these are all basically contextuated on a time of historical time where every culture, every religion,
Yes.
every ancient religion talks about this flood which happened some time back, that Noah's flood, or the Manu's flood. Everywhere it's the same story of the flood, which is very much related, which means really it might have happened and people really don't remember it. So this is how actually all my books or my writings are based out of. Yes, it has got nothing to do with technology, I admit. It's just a kind of my fantasy, fantasizing the ancient world, how it should might have been. And I take out some time every day to read or write something. So you can call it a hobby, basically.
And while you are pursuing these kind of hobbies related to archaeology, then I think India is one of the best place to live and to be consistent in your passion because there are so many
Right.
things that we can discover here in India. So that's a
Right.
really very interesting thing. And you also mentioned about the books, which is some of the books in Bengali language, right? So I just want to know, like you have explored the authorship as well. So what currently you are writing about, and how does the creative process differ from your tech work? Because we know, like we are writing blogs, but writing a blog and writing a book is completely different thing. So
Complete.
did you face any challenges while transitioning from blogger to author?
Yeah, challenges are there because if you stop writing, if you stop investing on technological front, gradually you will people will start losing focus on you. So you have to be consistently producing something or the other. So yeah, that's a challenge there. So what I do is that I write books, but I write it in a chosen manner of time. Like, say for example, every third week, third weekend, or every fourth weekend, I write it. On the hour or rest other weekends, I actually devote it for my technological upbringings, technological works, and all these things. So this is how I time slice things. Like, it's you certainly cannot keep two things running parallelly. You have to choose one or the other, and this is how you can manage that. So one you keep on, and another one you can keep turn it off, and the vice versa, like that.
Okay. All right. And regarding your books, so where it is available, like let's say if someone wants to read out all those books or if someone wants to purchase, so is it available on Amazon or is there any other portal through which they can access the books?
Yeah, it's on Amazon. It's on various portals also. So it's there. I keep on advertising, but very little. Like people are on LinkedIn are more focused on technological frauds
Technology.
rather than on. So yeah, I keep on advertising. Like I am writing a book on Atlantis right now. So was Atlantis real? Right? Was it a real place or was it just Plato? The historical historian Plato. Plato was a famous Greek historian. So was it just his fantasy or did this place really exist? So I am writing currently on that. So I will start advertising. Maybe the Kolkata book fair, the city where I live in. Basically, there is an international book fair that happens on every winter, and it's a huge book fair where people from all across the globe they basically hop in and join this book fair. So you can see people coming from Delhi, you can coming from South India, everywhere people are just hopping in. That's not from India, but all across the globe they're coming in, and I will start posting about these books maybe as the towards the year end. I will start doing that.
Okay. And to be very honest, like I found one common thing between among the Bengali community is the writing and the music. Not sure if it is it is in their blood or what, because every time like whenever I'm interacting with any Bengali community person, they always they are always passionate about the writing the books, because they kept themselves busy with writing a books or learning about the different musical instrument. In fact, one of my colleague is also from the same community. He's also from West Bengal. So he is also very passionate about writing the books, and he is also very keen into the learning the different musical instrument. So that is really a very admirable thing about this community, that they are always ready to share their knowledge, whether through books or through the good music. So that is really very nice thing.
Got it.
Okay, fine. So let's go back to the technical thing uh, after discussing so many things about the archaeology. So regarding the SQL, because in your experience with the SQL Server reporting services, what are some of the best practices that can anyone adopt in order to report the things in a truly valuable or decision making parameters? Because we all know that reporting is something that is going to impact the project performance as well. So, what are those common best practices as per your experience?
Yeah, I understood that. So reporting services, SQL Server reporting services are they have been in the string for quite a long time now. And if you're talking about handling SQL Server reporting services from finance and operation, the best way to handle that is to make use of views. If you make use of views as much as possible, then all the views are what? Views are nothing but your pre-calculated data. So you don't need to do the same calculation to say, for example, I'm spinning up the transaction cost for a customer, the number of transactions that he has made, or the total balance that is left for a customer. If I'm going to spin it up for every customer, and I have almost close to 100,000 customers, the timeout will certainly happen. So instead of that, if I do views, if I create views beforehand, and so that they are taking out all the information and keeping that information beforehand, just need to fetch, and it's a pre-cooked data. So that is solution, one suggestion. Another suggestion is that, like, people are moving more towards something new and something much more vibrant and much more low code, no code culture, which is known as the Power BI reporting services. It's very easy, and Power BI reporting is right now based on the top of something known as the Fabric, Microsoft Fabric, which is doing a humongous good job. Like you can just need to, you need to save that as a semantic endpoint, semantic SQL endpoint, which can give you a view of your vantage point of your data. Just expose the data and create views of whatever way you want to, whatever report you want to. Just drag and drop the columns. That's it. It's very easy. But if you have to create the SQL Server reporting, that you have to do a lot of development, and
Yes.
sometimes you would feel like you're in the midst of a sea, that what is happening, what is that I'm doing. So it's better to go for the Power BI reporting. Even Microsoft is also suggesting that. In fact, Synapses was there, but now Synapses could be replaced by thinking of Fabric. Fabric is a very powerful way of replacing Fabric, way of printing the data, and instead you move into the Fabric, and from SQL Synapses, I mean from Azure SQL Synapses.
Okay, all right. All right, so moving into your role as a solution architect, what do you think,
Mhm.
like how you are balancing the technical feasibility with the business requirement? Because we all know that uh, both are the metrics that highly impact your project requirement as well as project
Correct.
output. So how you are balancing these two things, especially when you are working with a larger enterprise environments?
Understood. Understood. So yeah. So basically, now that's another tricky question actually. So I mean, so what initially yesteryears used to happen was that the clients were very much fascinated about doing a lot of customizations, a lot of the paperwork that they used to do. Why don't we make the system do it on our behalf, which is a very very common thing in yesteryears. But now clients are very scared of doing customizations because they have experienced that the more you do customization, obviously it will do into some kind of goof up or the other. So it's better to use the out of box features as much as possible, and you leave all other things as either just read only or view only reports or UIs or just presentation like that. So there comes the solution and the feasibility checks, like is it at all feasible, or should you do it, or should you not do it. So we always suggest to go for out of box features and not to do any customizations explicitly, unless and until it is a must have, and it's a must have, or without this the client cannot go live. Then you do customizations. Otherwise, Microsoft has provided a large amount of data which you can map with the business requirements and get your work done without much of any difficulty.
Okay. All right. And based on your years of experience in the IT service industry, what you think, what changes have had the biggest impact on the role of solution architect? Because now the things are rapidly growing, changing, right? So what one thing you have witnessed that yes, it has impacted the role of solution architect in a very longer or broader aspect?
Okay, so the most important thing is the cloud, the inception of cloud itself. The moment the cloud stepped into the market, everything changed. The whole tax tree of the IT industry changed. So, in back to even 7 8 years also, the IT was more of on-premise culture where everything was on-premise RAM, ROM, hardwares, networking, get cables, tufts of cables running here and there, and you might have stumbled upon them and then fell off. So those things have gone now. So those things are everything is managed by Microsoft, and it's a very easy way to ask Microsoft if something does not work. You can always reach out to Microsoft and find out why is it not working. So that's one major change which I have experienced. Apart from that, there are some other changes also. Say, for example, it's going towards a low code, no code kind of a culture. People,
Yeah.
as I was saying, that people don't prefer to do much of development and make use of out of box qualities, which makes the whole thing very light, very easy to deploy, and very easy to move across, excepting the data part. So you have to think of bringing the data. So that is fine. But doing the customization is a very important part, which I think has been handled in a much better way in these days as compared to the previous years.
Mhm. Okay. All right. So Subhashish, we have plenty of things where we can have the discussion here, but we are short on time. So I would like to ask my last question, and it is related to the source of your inspiration, because we all know that behind every successful person there are a support of network. So for
Yeah.
you, who were those key people around you who helped you in your journey? Maybe your friends, family member, or a colleague. So who were those key people?
The first person whom I always take the name of is my mom, whom I lost some couple of years back. She is unfortunately not with me, but I could still feel her presence. Whatever, whenever I'm in need of something, I always think of her. Like, what should have been her response if I ask this question to her? So she's still very much with me. Apart from that, I will take the name of Rahul Sharma. Rahul Sharma is the one who has always inspired me to do this vlogging and to do this presentation part. Otherwise, I would have been more of a student kind of a person, like kept on taking things instead of reproducing things of its own. So that's one person I must take the name of. Apart from that, Ramit is also a very good friend of mine, Ramit Paul, who is another MVP, and he's doing great with the functional side of solutioning and all those things. So these two people I must take the name of. Other than that, the whole LinkedIn family is very supportive. Like Martin Rab is there and Ray is there. So apart from that, Dr. Ladwig is also there. So these are the people who I always keep in touch, and there's so much to learn from them.
All right. Okay, so thank you so much, Subhashish, for joining us in this episode and for sharing your expertise with everyone. It was really very nice talking with you, and thank you once again.
Thank you once again, Amit, for letting me speak. Yeah, and talk to you soon.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.